following announcement has been paid for by the Celtic World Order.
Hello, welcome back to Celtic World Order. I'm always Steve O'Matt, and it's a warm welcome, as always, for you taking the time out your day to join us for another wee special, if you will, a wee pop-up video, a pre-recorded. So bear that in mind if you are watching this. It's not a live recording, so if you're typing away, I won't be able to see your comments. So just a wee bit of advance notice. But if you like what you see here, you like what we're doing, you can leave a comment below and we will get back to it. We try our best to always respond to comments that people leave on our videos. As it says, if you're here, then obviously you should know about Celtic World Order. But if you are new, it is a warm welcome to yourself as well. Celtic podcasting by fans, for fans, uncompromised, unbiased, maybe uncensored, straight to the point, telling it like it is, no spin, no side agenda. So welcome to the channel. If you want to help us out, grow our reach, grow our community, then it takes 2 seconds to help us out, and it costs absolutely nothing, and it greatly does help. So if you like what you see in here, take the time to hit that subscribe button. That means every time we put out some content, particularly live streams as well, you will be notified. You'll never miss a beat. If you like it, give it the wee thumbs up. And if you want to help a wee bit further, you can share that. It just gets more people in the door, gets more eyes on us here. We're also on X at CWPod1888 and also old school on Facebook at Celtic World Order Podcast. That's the wee bit of homework, housekeeping done. That's out the way. Welcome. So what are we doing? Well, it's another one. We've got a big game tomorrow against Rangers, arguably one that's could seal the title for us. Get that 3 in a row, pretty much a sealed and delivered prize. 6 points if we win it. 2 games left, 1 at home. You've got to feel confident if that's the case, but nothing is done yet. But anyway, we've done a wee special show, if you will, where I listened to the old Super Scoreboard and just let the fans that were phoning in from both sides have a wee chat, give their thoughts, and then I just commented on it. So I thought people seem to really like that, and we thought let's have a wee bit of fun, particularly before a massive game like tomorrow. The phone lines are due to be red hot, I imagine. So let's see what folk are saying from both sides. And as it says there, is it confident or is it crapping it? Do the people that are phoning in, and I know they handpick folk, they want to create a wee agenda and that, but is it going to give us a sort of realistic, every fan gauge of where people are on both sides of the divide? Certainly from our side at Celtic, confidence is high, and it's mixed messages from the Rangers side. But let's tune in, let's have a wee listen, let's see what's been said, and let's comment on it. So, as always, I'm going to do it from here. I'll try my best to get the audio on it. I'll bring it down at points and we'll talk away. And we'll do that. In case you're wondering what this here is, unfortunately, I've bust my shoulder, I've bust my AC joint, and I'm in a sling, but that doesn't stop us here at CWO. We keep on going. We never stop, you could say. So let's see if it's kicked off yet.
The league table as well. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me tonight you have Kenny Miller and Hugh Keevins. Philip Thomas, as bad a forecaster as I am, if he believes this is not a must-win for Rangers, of course it is. If Celtic win that match,
I can't believe they wheeled out Hugh Keevins.
If Rangers win the match,
This is a watershed day.
And become the league champions. It is a cup final 2 weeks before the actual cup final, and it's also the day.
There we go. It's not like Hugh, has it, to get one right out there that hopefully, as always, he trips over. He makes a valid point. What we've seen, you may not have, but if you've had any pay attention to what Clement's been saying today, it's all very strange. It's all back to that sort of rambling. It's back to that almost Pedro-esque stuff. We're talking about being gladiators like back in the old days, but the only difference is nobody's trying to kill us. Unless maybe you're at Ibrox and you're going to get stuff chucked at you, then who knows, maybe folk are trying to kill you. But all strange stuff. Parallel universes between the two managers. Brendan Rodgers is always fully confident, all about us, spoke well, no rambling, direct, straight to the point. You cut over to come on and it's all rather weird and I would say wonderful. It's maybe wonderful for these journals that want to get a wee sort of bit of clickbait and things like that, but strange behaviour ahead of a big, massive match like this. And for me, it just sort of sums up where I think things are at Ibrox at the moment, where they're a wee bit sort of disjointed, a wee bit wishy-washy, a bit confused, if you will. But, you know, there's Hugh Keevins. If Rangers win, they will go on and win the title. What do you think of that? I mean, Celtic do have the superior goal difference, +5 at the moment, +3 points. Certainly if they won, it makes it interesting, but that would all come down to how much it is, you know, goal-wise, if they were to win. You know, touch wood, they don't. Hopefully it's ourselves that are running out comfortable winners. I certainly at this moment in time feel that with this derby coming up, that the confidence, I do have confidence that we won't lose. Am I massively confident that we're going to steamroller? Well, I was at the start of the week, but as time goes on, as the nerves start to jangle, the stomach starts to churn a wee bit, you maybe sort of rethink. I still think we've got enough in the tank at home to put them aside and go on and win this title. And I don't think Rangers winning it would certainly detract from what we've done. I don't think that we wouldn't have enough in the tank to get us through, even on that goal difference, particularly with a tight game, a tough game away to a Kelly side that have really caused us as many troubles as Hearts did. But as we saw against Hearts, we completely demolished them. So with the eyes on the prize, with the focus, the laser focus that we seem to have, the way the manager's speaking, if the result was not in our favour, which again I keep on saying, hopefully I do not see that happening, but let's be realistic, let's live in the real world. If that were to happen, I would still back our horse to get over the line.
Altogether, this is a real contest, Kenny. Absolutely is, you know, it's Celtic big favourites.
Let's hear about pearls of wisdom Kenny's got for us.
Playing over this last month or so, I think all their big players, their main players, the Carter Vickers, the Hattais, the McGregors, the Kyogos, I think they're getting to the peak of their powers. So
absolutely.
Because I'm pinning everyone, analysing every word that you said.
I think it's safe to say that universally Celtic are big favourites for this match. That's a multitude of factors. One, we're ahead, we're in the lead, 3 points, 5 goals, but also the nature of our performances. Yes, Aberdeen, yes, Dundee had their moments, but with a full complement of squad back, key players back, and particularly if you're going to look at the last game against Hearts, the performance that we put in against people who have really been running us tight and really causing us issues and blowing them away at Celtic Park, the same position that we'll find ourselves in tomorrow, in front of that home crowd, that rapturous home crowd. That was, the atmosphere wise at that game was close, if not better than anything that we've seen in recent years at derbies or European matches. That's massive. And the flip side of that, we saw Rangers winning a game against Kilmarnock, against 10 men. You know, yes, I thought the scoreline certainly flattered them, but in terms of performance, it wasn't quite there.
What are you thinking then? Can Rangers do it?
First up.
I think it's a possibility. I believe that Rangers have got a very good chance of getting something if Philippe Clement can set his team out correctly, which is what he hasn't done.
Theoretically, every team has a puncher's chance, don't they?
What needs to happen tomorrow, because there are a few injuries?
Definitely, I think maybe a formation change. I think we need a really strong midfield to keep Celtic's midfield quiet.
This is exactly what I think Rangers will do tomorrow. I think that they are going to go for midfield overload. They're going to try and staunch their way to victory. You'll find Lundstrom's, Diamandi. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a Ryan Jack or a Raskin coming back, trying to toughen themselves up.
The biggest game of the season for Rangers, to be honest. It's a must-win game, and that's about it.
The Fabio Silva question is fascinating. Last week, he disrespected the Rangers fans after scoring a goal at
Remember he done the wee hand gesture, pointing to his top, like he was the man.
And the very last thing the Rangers fans needed to see, because people like Lennon on the line have been severely judgmental when it comes to Fabio Silva.
So not much really coming away from that guy there. He's obviously a Rangers fan. he's confident that his team are going to win. He's got the right to do that. Every team has. But he says, you know, he comes away with, I think we can, and then offers absolutely no reason as to why he thinks they can, other than they are playing tomorrow. You know, I don't want to sort of put in the guy's parade or anything, but you know, if you want to come on to something like the scoreboard, you've got to put a wee bit of work and show you're working, put a bit of meat on the bone and tell us why you think your team could win, other than they're just going to turn up. As for change of formation, I don't know. I think they will try and overload the midfield. I think you'll see Dijon Sterling maybe coming in there, if they opt to play Barisic, that is, of course, because they played him at left back last time to actually quite good success against Nicholas Kuhn. They might put him into the midfield. They might revert back to Barisic. But I think they're going to go for midfield overload. They know the skill that we've got, the dynamic sort of mid trio that we've got, Rio, O'Reilly, and McGregor back on form as well. And they're going to try and, in typical fashion as we've seen over the years, they're going to try and snuff it out. And how they're going to try and do that? Not by playing football, but by roughing us up.
Particularly not Campbell, because he's played there before. He's been hooked after half an hour from playing off the right. I just think he's more suited, and I think Philippe Clement now has learnt from his early.
And this is an interesting one here. They're basically talking about, do they play Cantwell out wide, or do they move him into the middle where he is more comfortable, no matter what you think of him? But does he have the grit and the fight for a game like tomorrow? Who knows?
Can still be the case, or is it just about trying to maybe have a different message behind closed doors as he is publicly?
See, to be honest with you, there's a lot of things Clement says in these interviews that I don't agree with, and this is one of them. I think it is a must-win game. A draw wouldn't be the worst result.
Actually, think about that. Can you imagine Brendan Rodgers come out and says, particularly if we were behind, and he was that categorical that we don't need to win? Now, people might point to me and say, after the game at Ibrox, there was the argument that he kind of alluded to that almost. He says we go out and want to win, but it wouldn't be disastrous if we didn't win, i.e. we drew. Slightly different there, because he knew that we had quite a lot of games to play, including playing them again at that point. This is Rangers' last chance to win. This is their last opportunity to take points off of Celtic and get themselves back into this. They must win it. Make no bones about it. And I can't believe that their manager is saying that openly. For me, it's casual. For me, it's misjudged. And it can, maybe he's wanting to try and relax his team by sort of being that way. But at the same time, that could creep into their minds that we don't need to win this game. We just need to see it out. Strange.
Listen, if they lose, it's done. You know, if Celtic win the game, the league's done. If they draw, I just think everything that we've already discussed in terms of the psychology and what it would mean for Celtic to go to Rugby Park on Wednesday night, I think that's moot as well. You know, because that allows Celtic to go there.
I think a draw for us doesn't in any way, shape or form harm us. Of course it doesn't. Yes, we could draw. Worst case scenario, we could even lose to Kilmarnock, God forbid. And I would still expect us to have enough in the tank to put away St Mirren on the last day.
Pretty much had it their own way. They need to ask them the question, have you got it in you to go to Rugby Park on Wednesday night and go and win in a place where you've already lost twice this season? That's what Rangers need to do tomorrow. If they don't, for me, Celtic win the league. Well, Philippe Clement did say that he believes a hostile atmosphere at Celtic Park could work in his
obvious.
favour tomorrow.
Don't know about that. Work in their favour.
For sure. You need to love that if you want to be a player here or in this town. And I know many love to play here. You know, as a player, the more people.
Yes, they love to play at Rangers. They love to play at Ibrox.
The more people are negative towards you, the more they are afraid that their team don't get.
If you've not heard this, you are about to hear an all-time classic, up there with dogs barking and caravans moving.
The stronger my team is going to get. I think football is maybe a little bit like the gladiators of the modern age. In the old times, you have the gladiators there, and you have the stadium full of people shouting and booing and doing, or with their thumb up or with their thumb down. I think we are now in that situation. The good thing is people don't kill us. Or we do.
I mean, I would like to think so.
Maybe verbally, yes.
I just find this strange. What he's saying in principle is correct, that if you want to play at a club like Rangers or like Celtic or any other big club, you need to thrive on these games. You need to thrive on that red hot atmosphere. You need to be up for it. And if that can't get you ready to go, then nothing will. What I find strange, though, is that he's saying that Rangers can, feed off that. Hate's maybe a strong word, but that hostility that they're going to get at Celtic Park, that they will somehow feed off that. I'm not so sure about that, because they struggle with hostility from their own fans. We saw it before. Even look at the Kilmarnock game, which I say is they got through and the scoreline flattered them. They were getting frustrated at refereeing stoppages. They were getting, annoyed and frustrated at, refereeing decisions. They then went a goal down and they were silent and they were getting booed and they were getting heckled. And it was a really hostile environment from their own fans. What happens if, and they were struggling to deal with, what happens if they go down 1-0 to Celtic in front of our crowd, in front of that noise? I don't necessarily believe that they've shown the strength of character to pick themselves back up. Now, if we look back at the game at Ibrox, I actually thought, you know what? They didn't crumble. They did get themselves back into it. No matter how the penalty came about, let's forget about that. They still kept fighting till the end. But why was that? Because they had their own crowd on side and behind them. If they find themselves behind at Celtic Park, that's only going to get ramped up. That's only going to get into their head more. And I just don't see them fighting back from that. I think if it was 2-0 at Celtic Park at that stage of the game, they end up getting beat 3 or 4-0.
To prove they can handle that type of environment, because I think in these last two, Philippe Clement's first two Old Firm games, Celtic have, I know they've been close, but they've been 2-0 up for me in coasting in both games. Meaning the game at Celtic Park, the last time the Rangers were actually down to 10 men. What I think Rangers have displayed and actually highlighted about the Celtic team is if you can get that goal, even when they've had that 2-goal and it goes back to 2-1, they've actually rocked. Even when Rangers were down to 10 men, there was the best spell that Rangers had.
See what he does, he makes a good point here. And that is my only concern. Confidence is high, but we have found ourselves shaky and confused and a bit out of sorts when we, especially if we concede a goal against the run of play. That's something we hopefully need to work out. One of ours here.
Thanks very much for taking my call, by the way, guys. What I was going to say, the last thing you can do in any of these games you can afford to do is to hand the opposition an advantage. And I think the Rangers have done that in two counts. The first one is when they abandoned the supporters, or limited the support, and then eventually stopped the away support coming to the games.
Yep. Of course, that's going to change next season. We get this, I think, 5%.
They've got no supporters tomorrow. They're getting into the Lions Den,
But there'll be no lines there, remember.
Any Roman bookie and try to get a tenner on the Lions to beat the Christians. I don't think you're going to get any joy. But apart from that, so they've handed
Come on, get out, brother. Come on, let's go.
I know Celtic have been in it twice. Celtic came out, but Celtic have got good players, have got a good manager. The second thing is that Rangers have got a very limited squad.
They do. They've got some injuries now. This will be interesting because no matter what you think of these guys that they've got injured, Balogun, Goldson, I don't know if Balogun might make it, but guys like them injured. Matondo, who obviously came on, he's say what you will about him, fast, dangerous, scored the goal. Shouldn't have scored the goal. We should have defended that, but made a difference. Unavailable.
A weaker squad tomorrow would be injuries, but it sounds like a whole other different show that we could go down with, James. To pick up on the first point about the fans, this is
so not too much there. Obviously, just that he's a confident Celtic fan, and he should be, because we're unbeaten this season against Rangers. And let's not forget that Philippe Clement, the man who had reinvented the wheel for Rangers, apparently, had come in and he's played us twice now. Twice. And still not beat us. He was beat at Celtic Park. And then there was a draw. They probably should have lost that game as well, let's be honest. And as the point was made, when the goal went into us, it did shake us. And we were cruising at 2-0 and it ended up 3 each. Both teams showing a bit of fighting spirit, but I think a lot of that was down to the fact that Rangers were at home, which fed into their fighting spirit. I think if those circumstances pan out at Celtic Park, I think it goes a completely different way. I don't see Rangers recovering from that. But yes, we should be confident. And the fans thing, as we say, is we'll see a different set of circumstances next season. But fans do make a huge difference. When our poor form was going, there was a lot of time where the Green Brigade were out for a long period of time. And since the fans have come back, there's undoubtedly the momentum has picked up and it culminated against Hearts. What an atmosphere. The fans were literally sucking those goals into the net. That's the difference maker. It all goes in our favour tomorrow. And Rangers, for a long period since they took the hump, if you remember, and done this no fans thing, it's really just came back to shoot them in the feet. We've been a better team, of course. We've had better players, but it's shot them in the foot in terms of they've never had anybody to pick them up there, and they have lost time and time again at Celtic Park. If they had a decent complement of fans there, it might have been different for them. I'm not saying it would, but certainly having fans in the stadium will make a difference.
Rangers surely can't allow Celtic to get on top this time. And Brendan Rodgers will be trying to do exactly that.
He will, and I think when you looked at the last game at Ibrox, Rangers were 2-0 down in that first half. Could have been 3 or 4. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
And then Rangers came out
a couple of wasted chances as well.
Aggressive in the second half, just in terms of their positioning and how many.
Now, see, in terms of that, this is what interests me. One of the first guys mentioned about he was looking for a change of formation, a change of tact. I'm interested to see how Rangers play it. Yes, Celtic podcast, Celtic fan, only really care about ourselves, but the way Rangers play could have a massive effect on how this game pans out. They need to win. The question is, do they go like Hearts did, all guns blazing from the start, with a very aggressive attacking style? Ultimately, that's what opened up Hearts and created those spaces. And despite how competitive that game actually was, they were 2-0 down in 20 minutes. And likewise, yes, Rangers have a better quality of player than Hearts, so they might get more, luck going forward. But equally, they will create those openings, those channels that our midfielders, with an eye for a pass, your Hitatis, your O'Reillys, McGregor can just thread those balls in behind. A slow and lumbering defence is probably going to be Davies and Suter into Kyogo, and they could find themselves in an absolute world of pain. So I'm interested to see how they go about it. Do they go for it from the start, or do they try to sit in and counter us? I think, to be honest, if they don't win the game, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. If they sit in and they get beat, their fans are going to go mental. If they go all out attack and get picked off, their fans are going to go mental. So a lot of things really are in our favour going into this match.
They can't allow the Callum McGregors, the Hitatis in there, right?
There you go.
Even the Carter Vickers, by the way, to be getting on the ball with his head up under no pressure. Rangers have to be aggressive in their approach. And again, that's where the team selection will be really interesting, because when you I think
and speaking of aggressive, that's why I think they will go with probably 3 central midfielders. They'll go with a Diamande, they'll go with a Lundstrom, possibly Jack, maybe a Raskin, or as he says, they might bring in Sterling for a bit of sort of power and size and presence in there. That is what Rangers are going to have to do. That's what Rangers will do, I think. It's predictable. So we'll just put us down for a second. So yeah, not too much to unpack there with those first few calls, but Kenny Miller and that stating the obvious, Rangers can't afford to let our quality players get on the ball, but that's where we need to play our game. That's where we need to be in the front foot. We need to be setting the tempo early. That's why for me, starting this game, I would definitely 100% put Maeda in. We see that instant high press that he does. He gets there right back, that captain fantastic, Hall of Famer on the back foot. He gets him into positions where he doesn't want to be, ultimately doing what should be his bread and butter job, defending, gets us up the park. Over the other side, I am canvassing and I would maintain playing Forest. Now, the manager in his press conference today was asked that question. He kind of made a joke, says, "Oh, so you're telling my team already?" And I think he might just go with it. I know that he's trusted Kuhn for the past sort of 6 weeks out on the right, but I just think in this game where we need to be going front foot, posing our will on the game nice and early, we need both wingers, and they can switch left and right, they can play both ends. We need both our wingers available who are on top of their game, or the best fit for this game, that have experience in it, and they won't get burnt up with it, because I felt that Kuhn, he shows some good things, but he gets himself on the inside and he cuts in, he gets on the left foot and causes a wee bit of problems. But I just felt that he got a wee bit burnt up with the atmosphere, particularly at Ibrox. In the last game, even Celtic Park, I think he was particularly great, to be honest with you. So I think we need to go with Forest. I would rather put your best foot first forward and have the best chance, and then having these guys like Palmer and Kuhn as an option, hopefully when you're, fingers crossed, in a comfortable position. That's what we need to do. Guys as well, like Forrest, he knows the game inside out. He's been there, he's done it. People will say, "Oh, has he really done it in a game against Rangers?" Well, do you know what? Now's a time, if any, to carry on that rich vein of form he's done it and prove a lot of people wrong and remind them why he is still around. Such a valuable player, but in this game where it's going to be 100 miles per hour, we need guys who are not going to wilt. They're going to have the wherewithal to get their foot in the ball and play our game. They're going to have a calm head, positional awareness, ball retention, all things that Forrest does. He's very, very good with the ball retention. He very rarely wastes possession, and I just think we need that balance. Yeah, I know Maeda sometimes wastes possession because, he's not there for control, he's not there for crossing, he's not there for scoring goals, he's there for chaos, but it just somehow works. He's an enigma. It just somehow works. And I know it sounds funny that I'm saying you need Forrest for all these things that you don't get out of Maeda, but I'm saying he goes straight in. But, believe me, we've all seen Maeda, and it doesn't matter. You can try to explain it. You just can't. You just know when you see it why he has to play. So, no, I think that for us, put your best foot forward, best team, strongest team, get that experience in there, impose our will nice and early, get them under the cosh nice and early, get them under that, get the sweating bullets, try and get an early goal. If we get an early goal, I think it could be a comfortable afternoon, simply because of the reason of what I said there about the atmosphere. Rangers were pulled back. The way that I said for our fans against Hearts, essentially sucked those goals into the net. That's kind of a wee bit of what happened at Ibrox. Whenever they got a bit of wind in their sails, they were lifted by a crowd that, let's not forget, the crowd were booing them off the pitch. The crowd were hating them, but then lifted them when they get the goal, such as football fandom. But the advantage is ours, and we've got to take every single wee gift that we get. Any slight advantages, any fine margins, we need to capitalise on it. So are we coming back? Let's see what they've got to say. See if we get a couple more fans in. I always think that when you get, particularly a game like this coming up, they'll handpick. Sometimes they like a wee bit of sort of moonhowling, they like a wee bit of controversy. Other times it's just standard fare. But, I really want to know what the feeling is, particularly against Rangers fans, because I think the vast majority of ourselves as Celtic fans, confidence is brimming. And it should be. As I call myself a realist. I'm confident. I'm still a wee bit on the fence.
Brendan Rodgers spoke today. He said that the claims from Philippe Clement last week that he was being disrespectful towards Rangers when he spoke about fun are totally without merit.
I think anyone who was at my press conference would have sensed in the way in which it was said, it was the reaction to that is totally.
I said that at the time. I think it was almost one of those things just to finish off a chat where he says, we're at home, hopefully like this, the sun will be shining, the home fans, we can have fun, meaning we can play freely, we can play our own football in our own environment. Kind of taking out of context, but you know what? Mastermind games. He's been there long in the tooth. It's not the first time this season that he's said something that they've spun it a different way. You know, the same as I've been there. I've been through various managers, my time, and every time I've been told that my time was up and they were coming for me, and I'm still here and I'm still doing it. You know, yeah, it was a wee bit overly confident perhaps, but it was a sort of wee, you know, joking rib, if you will, and they took it right to heart, and I've taken this one right to heart as well, because they've been talking about it. And this is the thing, drawn into the madness, as Keevans calls it. This is where we do have that edge. Psychologically, I feel we're straight lining this one. Focus, determination, everything's calm. The message is clear. It's consistent. There's no rambling. There's no confusion, whether it's players, whether it's manager. But over the past couple of weeks, you listen across there, you've got guys like Dijon Sterling coming out and saying that there's not really a togetherness there. He's alluding to confusion. He's alluding to breaks in the ranks. Again, if you want to look at it in the stuff for the weekend, you've got Barisic arguing and pushing a fan. You've got somebody getting up in the face of Butland. And I know these things are off the field distractions, but surely they can creep their way in to the dressing room. The manager's talking about it. Their manager is bringing these things up. It's clearly in his head. Now, I know sometimes the old notion of get that typed out and pinned on the dressing room, and that's your speech done. That's your pre-match G-up done. It's not quite as simple as that.
In and around the box, because we know with the last game, Fabio Silva going down so easily.
Quicker than a flat pack wardrobe.
As well for a bit. Rangers' main danger, man, on the park is going to be James Carpenter, because 9 times out of 10 he'll put the
Whether you
ball
like it or not, it's true.
In and around the box. Celtic's got 6. The 3 forwards, the 3 midfielders are all capable of scoring against Rangers, which they all have done. Rangers don't have that luxury. So just to be careful of giving away cheap free kicks, because I think that's what Rangers are going to play for. When they're moving up
absolutely.
they're going to look for the cheap
Chaos ball.
around the box to bring Tavernier into the game.
It depends what you mean. Scoring directly from free kicks, you know, he's got that in his locker. I know there's been an accusation from Rangers fans that they don't make enough of their set pieces this season, particularly corners. So maybe that's something different.
So I'll mute this down at the moment. You know, we say this time and time and time again, no matter who we are playing against, one of our massive Achilles heels is cross balls into the box.
Are all capable of scoring, and I think Celtic will score, and it'll be a comfortable win tomorrow.
Kenny spoke earlier about.
I don't care for what Hugh Keevans has got to say. Let's talk about what he says. We said this time and time again, no matter who the opposition is when it comes to Celtic. Cross balls, set pieces, stop the ball getting into the box. We've seen it time again. We've seen it against Kelly. We've seen it against Motherwell. We've seen it in Europe. We've seen it against Rangers. We've seen it against Hearts. Stop the ball getting in. Now, I don't know what it is, but Taylor and Scales, they've always, let's be honest, Scales has been fantastic. Right? Let me get that caveat. That Scales has been fantastic this season. One of the big surprise packages. Taylor's Taylor. He does Taylor things. He's got his inconsistencies, but they are always targeted down that side. Always targeted down that side. That's where Maeda comes into play. He's the one that's going to have to pin back that supply, which is going to be Tav, isn't it? But Rangers, as I call it, chaos ball, it's been the same for managers upon managers, right back to your Pedros and your Warburtons, and still it continues, and still we never seem to really click for some reason. Stop the supply, stop the chaos, stop the goals. Rangers shell balls into the box when they get 3/4 of the way up the pitch or on the edge of the box. That's what they do. Overload the ball into the box. Hope that it just creates chaos. If you're lucky, your striker gets on the end of it. If not, it's a poor clearance. It falls shy at the edge of the box for a secondary shot, or it scrambles about. Or even better, they hope for a handball, don't they? That's what happens. That's the way Rangers have played for as long as time. I don't understand why we always have this debate. Shut them down early. bring them in, force them narrow, because unlike ourselves, I don't think they've got the players with that silky pass. I think I'll give the boy Diamandi a bit of credit. I do think he looks like he could be a good player for them. But we've got guys who can play narrow, find those channels, find those gaps, those wee intricate passes, and thread one through. Rangers never really play that way. They either do two things. They either hope for like a Cantwell getting the ball and running a wee mazy run and poking it through and getting a goal off of that, or they shell the ball in. They don't really work cute passes in behind and things like that. So for us, stop that at source. Stop the balls getting in the box. Win the game. It's as simple as that. And yes, cheap free kicks. They will try to exploit us down the left because that is our weakest position defensively. And most teams have tried to go with that. Same way as well, giving the ball to Scales and inviting him out for a run. We need to shut all that down. He gets the ball, threads it in the midfield, gives it to McGregor, gives it to O'Reilly, gives it to Hatate, somebody that can do those things that need to be done. I don't want to see Scales run in and trying big passes. Whoops.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that guy's on, right? But I remember I come on about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Gordon, I gave a rallying call to the team. Remember that? And we haven't lost since.
You're to get William in the dressing room tomorrow, I say.
William gave a rallying call.
Are you taking credit for this?
Absolutely.
Right, okay.
Absolutely. No, joking aside,
Who is he? Who's he supporting? Who's he backing?
I agree with Kenny and I agree with you at some points. I don't think Celtic are marvellous and they're unbeatable. No, I mean, we just had Aberdeen 2 or 3 weeks ago and everybody's saying Celtic were creaking and all that and dodgy result in Dundee. I don't know, Rangers will not be in great form, but I think Rangers can go there and win it.
I think it's pretty sure who Williams backing. Williams backing the Rangers horse.
Wins that game tomorrow, right? I agree with you, wins that league. Definitely. Because if Rangers win, they'll get Dundee on a Tuesday night, which I think they could win, and then Celtic have to go to Rugby Park. It's a grass pitch, 2 sets of goals, go there and win the game, Rangers.
If only it was that simple.
Well, life is not...
So, there you go. Thanks for that, Hugh. One thing I do agree with you. But, no, there you go. Like, Rangers fans came on. William, he's fair play to him. He's backing his side. That's what I like to see. I like to see fans backing their side no matter who you support. You should be confident. You should believe. There's a wee bit there that I want to touch on. I do think that, God forbid, if the result didn't go our way, that I would be concerned that they are playing against Dundee at home at Ibrox. And they've got Hearts who, let's be honest, Hearts are not very dependable, are they, when it comes to getting out results. On the flip opposite, we've got Kilmarnock, again, a team that we really, really struggled against, particularly on that pitch as well. And I think at home, St Mirren, that one would take care of itself. So I would be just nervous from the standpoint that it's 5 goals at the moment, depending on what the score is tomorrow, that that could be eaten into. So again, this is what it comes down to. Play our game, impose our will early, get the result. I know I've just said as if it was only as easy as that, mate, to him. And I'm saying that, yeah, is it that easy, Steve-O? Well, clearly it isn't. But as we have shown, when we come out and we play our game, generally speaking, we're unstoppable. And particularly against Rangers, when we do what we do, we've been unstoppable. Certainly unbeatable.
He said that he should have counted well. They listen to him every week when there's...
Are you sure? He said it definitely should have counted, did he?
He said it was a third phase of play. It should have
I'm not sure about that, Kenny. We can do this all night, I suppose. We can argue about decisions in that game, decisions the one before. That seemed a pretty simple attacking phase of play that didn't end. But anyway, William can disagree. The fact that Rangers are so hit by injury, you always strike that difficult balance where you say, you can't use it in excuse.
And this is a thing.
But you also can,
this is where it also for us, not that we should care. This is where again narratives can be spun. Rangers are injury hit. Let's not forget that of the past 3 games that we've played Rangers, we've had different centre half pairings. We've had key players missing. Hatate, McGregor. We have come into these games with injury woes of our own. We've come into these games with form issues before and a lack of overall quality to select from. So boo-hoo, my heart bleeds that they've got injuries there. But again, that'll just be another one. If the result doesn't go their way, the injuries would, cobble together a team and stuff like that. And equally, we're wrong a hard place for us. If we beat them, but we had injuries. If they were, God forbid, to get a result against us, we're back. The best team ever since sliced bread. So all the pressure is on Rangers to win, but there's also a wee bit of I say a wee bit, there is of course pressure on us to go out and put the game away and put the league away. But there's also that added narrative pressure, if you want to call it that, where people are just looking for something to shoot us down with. And what other else could they shoot us down with is if we were to go out and perhaps struggle against a injury-ravaged Rangers side. You can't win. There you go, thrown together. This is what Celtic need to attack. Big, slow, lumbering defenders. Remember what happened the last time we saw Davies at the back there against, Kyogo. 2 goals, nice and easy. They're weak at the back. That's why we need to be in the front foot. They've got issues with Goldson and Souttar's positioning. That's not going to be the case. That ain't going to be the defensive pairing. We can drag a pairing that's been thrown together out of position, cause them trouble. I really want them to play Barisic. I hope they throw in Barisic. That would obviously mean that they'll put in Dijon Sterling in the midfield probably. But I would fancy any of our wingers' chances against Barisic over Dijon Sterling. We do, and things have went our way recently. Things have been going well for us. A good selection of players back, full complement, the best version of Celtic, as Roger says, and all the things have been lining up perfectly for us. And as great as that is for us, and as much as an advantage that is, it's also a big, dirty stick that people are looking to beat you around the head with if you don't make it work. And that's what we need to do here. That is what we need to do. We need to make sure that we make it work. We need to make sure that we go out and we are the best version of ourselves this season. Because let's not forget, no matter what you think of Rangers, no matter what your confidence levels are, nothing is finished. And I want to make sure that's abundantly clear. I'm not sitting doing these wee chats and things like this to gloat and laugh and say, ha ha ha, it's all done, because it's not. There's a lot of work to be done. Starts tomorrow. We've got the control in our hands. We need to kick on. We need to do our part. Nothing's a given. And that is true because, whether we want to think it's possible or not, the reality is Rangers are still in a title race. And you know what? Rangers on paper could still win a treble in the same way that we could still win a double. We just find ourselves in a slightly better position than the opposition, and it is up to ourselves to make that count. We need to go out there and do it. Not too much there. They've been dragging those calls out. I was hoping for a wee bit more sort of blood and guts and thunder and all that kind of stuff. Maybe, hopefully, if we get a good result at the weekend, then Monday will be getting off like a fair, and we could maybe look at doing another one of these ones. But I just wanted to chat because I like to think before the game, it's good to sort of listen to the views of some people are phoning in and see if it sort of lines up with my thoughts. And generally so far, I think it has. You've got, as I say, your Rangers fans are coming in. They're confident. As I say, they've all right to be confident in their team. That's what you've got to do. If you've not got confidence in your team, what's the point of turning up? What's the point of supporting? And equally, I think we're in a good place. But yep, I totally agree with some of the comments there that we need to stop what we need to stop for Rangers. I've alluded to it, I've spoke about it, commented on it. That's true. That's what we need to do. That will be the biggest threat that we get is the cross balls, the supply in the box. We need to shut that down. And equally as well, you're the guy talking about a change of formation for Rangers. Yep, I think Rangers are going to go heavy on the midfield. I actually think that they might play one of the sort of flair players, if you will. It'll either be Cantwell or Silva. Do I think they will put both of them in? Honestly, I don't. I don't. I think they need to barn down the hatches. They need to be sort of, robust, if you will. And listen, they're no shy to doing that one, are they? And going for the aggression, or as I like to call it, staunching their way to a win. That's what they'll be looking to do. But we've got the dynamic trio. We've got that speed, that agility, that dynamic edge that I don't think that they have. And as I say, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Will they come at us? Will they sit in? They come at us, you better be ready. You know, if you come at the king, you better be ready to go. And I think if they do that, those gaps are going to open up. We're going to exploit it. So at this moment in time, I am feeling confident that we won't lose. I think we've got enough in the tank to win, but it's, you know, sitting on the fence a wee bit. We'll see how it pans out. I think if an early goal goes in, we get our noses in front, I think we'll push on and we'll feed on it, and I think that will burn them up. What I don't want to see is a nervy and disjointed. We got a result against Hearts, and it was the first time that we saw two halves of good football. I want that same stuff again. I want that Ibrox speed and momentum that we had in the game where we drew 3 each there. That at home, you know what? If we can do that at home, I don't see them having the mental fortitude to come back from that. Anyway, we'll be back tonight, 20 to 10. There'll be myself, Paddy and Josh, and we'll be doing a right good deep dive on the game as we look forward to it. So get yourself over there and check that one out. That is going to be a right good show, and we'll get our teeth into this game. So anyway, once again, thanks for taking the time to watch Celtic World Order. Sport is truly, genuinely appreciated. The channel's grown, the community's grown, everybody's interacting. It's fantastic. Help us out, continue to like, continue to subscribe and share it. Let's get more people in here, because remember, if you join CWO, you are for life. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you later on tonight. Take care. Bye-bye.